It is time for our big Duel Links 2024 prediction video, going through new characters, events, boxes, campaigns, structure checks, what's happening with Rush Duel for Worlds, the brand new world in September, all of that. But first, let's get a baseline for last year for character events. What do we get? So first of all, we had 6 characters from 7s, 3 from Mark 5, 2 from Vrains, 2 Zexal, 1 DM, 1 5Ds, and 0 from GX. And so this year, I'm going to give GX a character, and I think you'll know who it's going to be, and I think it kind of makes sense. Given what's left to come for the character, it all just kind of lines up. So of course this year so far, we've had the Blazing Phoenix main box. That was pretty good, everyone kind of loved that. Constellas, Ra support, Mayakashi. It was a very, very big box, but next week is the anniversary. We know we're getting Shield and Sword, Blue Eyes, a structure for Rush Duel, which I think will be really good. The card that's coming in it, I think it's going to be Limit 3 on release, and that should take us up to the first Rush Duel release, which isn't going to be in January because we know we're getting Bazaar from Zexal, which probably means a Speed Duel mini box and in January, which is fine. But of course, we're expecting a selection box, as always, if they haven't changed their tune, which I hope they would do, but I doubt it. So I think Limit 3 Ultra Rare, then Droplet. It just kind of makes sense. It is resource intensive to use, but I think it's worthwhile, especially given we've now got Condemned Witch in the last box Ultra Rare, Limit 3. Why would you Limit 3 that card if you weren't going to Limit 3 this one as well? Right, I just think it's signaling too much, right? Given like last year, we had my Phoenix, Unicorn in the main box, and then Cerberus in the selection box. This one feels very similar in tone. We need a reprint for Onomatopyra. It's the last selection box 6 Ultra Rare from last year to be reprinted, and so given we've got a Zexal event coming, it does kind of line up timing-wise to bring it back somewhere. Right, could it be in a deck build box prior to Mazar's event, reprinting Galaxy Eyes and Chronomaly and Game Puppet Right and some Utopia stuff? It could do. I think it makes sense, but also they could save it for the next main box or wait until after the KC Cup in early February and reprint alongside a warrior themed deck build box, right, just as some filler content in a Rush Duel month. I think that could also work out. Be a bit weird, but it would still be timing wise perfectly fine, I guess. Then of course February, I'm hoping it's going to be a Rush Duel character, most likely Nail from 7s, the main early antagonist, right? He brings maximum summoning, he's got Yggdrago. It's a bit of a consistency issue, so I'm hoping skills and different cards kind of work to make it better. We'll get a main box, of course, alongside it, going to be Yuga's Maximum as well, his first one. We'll get a bundle deal for Sakuretsu Armor, which I think will be a buff on Widespread, but also, given Maximums, the early Maximums at least have some trap protection effects, then, like last year, Speed KC Cup, into Rush character, into Rush Festival, just makes sense, and this still won't get you to Worlds. Unfortunate, but I think they're going to do something really, really weird with Rush this year for Worlds, if at all. Then in March, I've got a Speed main for Rin/Lulu Mark 5. Now, this could also go for Yuri. I'm not sure, but I think they will want to do one of the Bracelet Girls beforehand, and I think even we saw Yuto before Yugo, it just kind of lines up right. And we know there was an ID floating around for Lulu in the back end of the game code, so it just kind of adds up to being the first character we get, even though we've seen Rin as a spry in Duel Links already. I think Lulu comes first, Xyz. Lyrilusk might be kind of scary for Duel Links, right? Potentially a pseudo FDK deck, but more support for Raid Raptors and Phantom Knights would actually be really, really cool. And also would then go along with the pickup boxes, but they'll be expired by then, so some more weird timing there. Then, April, going for a Rush Mini with Asana Mutsuba from 7s, and this will come alongside a level cap increase as it's going to be the final unlock for 7s before September's New World. And I think that because if you look at the panel we've had so far, and I'm making this up, but we of course, September, Rush main, then Speed main, Rush mini, Speed mini, then got a Speed main, and we're expecting in January a Speed mini. So that's one full cycle of all series, then a second mini cycle of just Speed. Then we go back to a full cycle of Rush Speed, then a mini cycle for Speed, and that lines up perfectly for September to be Rush Duel, a brand new world, if we skip July, like usual. But if we don't, and the new world isn't a Rush Duel world, then just putting a box in July makes it all line up. So that is fantastic. And I hope when we do, level caps to 30, that'd be great, but I'm expecting 25 given the increase of characters. And of course Asana, we know is going to be the Worm Excavator, her big maximum. So giving that support then would make sense. I think also, this will be where we get Mirror Innovator, which people are hoping it comes alongside the Structure deck, right, in January. I don't think so, but giving Mirror Innovator as one of the final box UR cards for Rush Duel before the brand new world drops would be really big. And I'm not saying there can't be structure decks between then, I hope there is, right, more content drops, but in terms of boxes, this will be where it ends. Then in May is a Speed Mini. This is your big Road to Worlds campaign month, right? A big campaign. Free structure deck, right? Probably gonna be Code Talker or Firewall. Kind of hoping it's Firewall, given that on Vrain's release, we got a Code Talker structure deck, and so it would make sense to give Alt-Art Firewall, but also Decode Talker is kind of the ace that they've set up, so it's a bit weird. Maybe they do both. Maybe they do an Alt-Art Firewall for the campaign reward card, and then Decode Alt-Art in the structure deck. That could also work out well. But also, we get a Vrain's character unlock, and if you go and look at Season 1 of Vrain's, you've basically got two choices left, right? You've got Akira, or you've got Spectre, and I think Akira comes first, given he's like more important in Season 1 than Spectre is, and Spectre could be this nice real gateway to more reprints via deck build box. Talk about that at the end of the video. But also, what then happens for Rush Duel Worlds, because after a KC Cup event, we kind of expect to go to Rush Festival. I didn't put that event, and so I think Rush won't be a Duel Links Worlds this year. If it is, there'll be their own separate event in late June to be a last chance qualifiers kind of thing, like we had for Duel Links Year 1, for Master Duel Year 1, or they'll do the really baffling thing and make Speed Duel Links Worlds players have to play at least one Rush Duel deck. And so, if you're a Rush Dueling player, then you had no chance of going to Worlds, which would be really bad, optics-wise and just in general. So I hope they don't do it, but I'm not too sure, right? It just depends on how well Rush Duel's been doing, right, and how much they feel like they need to support it. And at the moment, I get the vibe that it's not been doing very well, but maybe this is all part of their grand design, and this will change in space of a week. We don't know. Then in June, main box. Last year, of course, was DM Disty. Year before, not in that slot, but in general, just for a character. So we're back Disty this year, of course, with Tristan Taylor as a filler character. This is just what it is, right? The main box could be anything. It could be 5Ds, it could be GX support, it could be DM support, and people go kind of ballistic for it. They did last year for Heroes, and so, yeah, this is just a free month to get off your bingo card, and, yeah. Then July. This one, again, will be a skip month, unless, of course, the new world is going to be a speed world. But a skip month this year could be completely different, right? Because usually, there was no deck build boxes or pickup boxes, and now they exist, they can pad out this month and make it feel better than having no new content, or only having paywall content like structure decks and selection boxes, so that could be even better. But I think, given we took a year off of GX last year, it's got to be time for Atticus Road's Night Shroud to come into Duel Links in July, alongside a Limit 1 bundle of Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. Now, we've not got much Red Eye support left to get in Duel Links, given we just got the Meteor Dragon, right, the newest one, and I think that this being Limit 1 would remove it from Rocket Dragon Link, because you want to play the bundle card you've got already. Alternatively, and this would be a really based pick, right, if they want to go Season 4 GX, then a really cool event they could do is Truman. Now, I don't know what you'd give him card-wise, but you could have him spawn multiple times in Dual World, like the Red Hunter event, right? That was a really cool thing to do with Marek, and this could be something similar. Then it's August, we've got Speed Mini with Dumont from Zexal, our next Baryon. I can kind of see him skipping him, though. He's not super important like Mazar is, or even Garaga Rolito. He feels like it's just kind of there, but given the next one up is likely Vector, and then probably Nash and Marin, or at least just Nash, right? Marin can kind of not come and be a transformation skill, but Nash I think is separate by himself. But Demon coming, Stars, Ceres, more support for that, if there is any left to kind of get, would be kind of cool for a Speed Mini to wrap up the year before September, Rush to main, but Go Rush being the brand new world. Now, I will say, the show is still airing, and it won't finish until 2025, and so we've not seen so far a Duel Links World release whilst the show is still ongoing. Now, is it going to be important for English players? No, not really, because the anime will have only just started anyway, when it does come out. But also, the only thing it really affects, right, is card voice lines, because there were record voice lines before the cards have been finalized, and so that's the only thing we'll kind of lose out on. Given the 7s and Duel Links kind of started at the beginning of the anime, I think it'll be the same here, and that'll be fun to explain, given that 7s and Go Rush are two kind of interlinked animes, but we'll see what happens. Now, I think it'll be different, right? This year was 4 characters day 1, with 1 coming in the first week. This year I think it'll be 3, because they kind of had to give a bigger update this year to be a bit more fresh and have a bit more variety. So I think it's pretty obvious, right? Udius, Yumu, Yuhi, the main 3, that'll be great. A lot of Dragon representation, right? A lot of that. Joint Tech Rex, Bluetooth Burst Dragon, and I think the last one is the Transamu Rhynak, or the other one, the other dragon he has for vanilla. So that'd be fun. In October, a speed main, but also remember this year, when a rush character on the first week, and I think this one is going to stick, and it'll be Manabu Getsu from Go Rush, the black-haired Gavin kind of counterpart. I can't remember what he plays, but I think that it just kind of makes sense, right? Have him be like Mimi, supporting the main box, and then give him a week later, and people kind of like that with Rush Duel this year. So the big thing will be Yuri from Arc 5 as one of the final big speed characters to end off 2024. This will be such a big deal for Duel Links, and it's going to be interesting because Starving Venom is a very, very good card and a very good Super Poly target, which they might kind of want to avoid. Now, Yuri did use Super Poly in the show, and so I think he'll get a skill regardless, but used it with Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon, and also Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. And so I think they can kind of balance the skill around that. But does that mean they'll put the Starving Venom at Limit 1 as a bundle to kind of counteract the Super Poly shenanigans? Who knows, you know, who knows? By then, Speed Duel might be so fast that we don't really care about that, but that'll be a fun month, you know, a big campaign like this year. And then into November for Mini Box Rush Duel, and we're going to go back to Seven's World for a brand new character, bringing a brand new mechanic to the game, that being Yuo Goha, bringing of course Fusion Summoning to Rush Duel. I think this could happen in the New World box, right? They could put Fusions in there, but I think that like Maximums, you've got to tie in with an event, and so giving Fusion out via Yuo's event would make sense, and it would kind of set you up for future Go Rush support, and give Rush Duel and Duel Links its own little metagame, more than it is right now. But given that we'd be having so many Go Rush cards coming, whilst we've still yet to get some of the big heavy hitters from 7-0, right? Cyber Dragons, XQTs, all that kind of thing, would be really, really cool. Like, that could be a fun little way to spice Rush Duel up in Duel Links, perhaps being its own thing, and cap off the year really, really nicely. But of course, potentially one final character in December. Now, this year there wasn't any. Next year, I think we'll go back to it. And I think it'll be Spectre from Reigns, Sun Avalon, as a raid duel. His big tree makes so much sense to be a raid boss, right? And you can put a deck box on side or a pickup box, right, reprinting Rikas or Black Rose stuff, or just more Rain stuff, right? Trick Stars, Rockets, and then more support in the mini box. And that'll wrap up a very, very big year for Duel Links in 2024. Now, we are still in the 20th anniversary celebration year for TCOCG, right? They're still bringing more products out for that. And so I'm pretty sure this year, one of the Speed Structure decks, which is a bit weird given we've not got one since August, but one of them that will happen, aside from Code Talkers or Firewall, is going to be Chimera and Illusion support. I think it's DM nostalgia, they can make a good skill, it's a new mechanic technically into the game, that'll be quite fun. Now, the last 2 years I've predicted Dragon Maids, Shadow, and Time Thief to come to Duel Links. Now we'll know that this week we of course had Shadows come to Duel Links via the main box, and now the archive skills exist, I think it's way more likely that both these deck types come to Duel Links this year. If they don't come, then that's not a good look for me, you know, in terms of what I think should come to Duel Links, but Dragon Maids would be very, very fun. I enjoyed them in Master, there's an event going on right now with them in, and they would be a very, very good Duel Links deck, right? They're battle phase reliant, but I think given a good archive skill and them being generic Dragon support, potentially can run Red MD, right, via Limit 1 bundle. It all just kind of lines up to have them released this year, at least in my mind. Two other things as well. This year there will be a big reprint week for pickup boxes, where they reprint and bring back all the old pickups that are left, right? The Arc 5 ones, the Banner Boxer one, the BLS one, the Maikashi one, whichever ones come after that. And I'm going to put it when Worlds is happening in August, right? It's a big celebration for that happening. Here's a chance to get some cards for super cheap, and that'll go down really, really well. That'll be a really cool time. Also, there will be an extra size increase for Speed Duel this year. Now, they'll probably wait till September, right, alongside Go Rush, and that'll be a nice big change for the game. Going from 8 to 9 is going to be drastic. But also, what if we don't get a Rush Duel World this year? You know, what do we get? Do we get DM World 3, focusing on filler, or a Calcos Arc or KCGT? Do we go down the route of having the OC structures, like I thought last year? Given they were in Cross Duel, they could put them in there, and people would... I think that world kind of loses a lot of its luster now, because we have got archive skills, but also makes more sense because they can throw, you know, support on all those characters, and it would be fine, given that every character pretty much in the manga played whatever they wanted, you know? Some people played Math Mech, and some people played Dragon Maids, and some played Sky Strikers and Eldritch, and they could do whatever they want. So that would be kind of fun, but also there's very limited characters for that one. but I guess if you're looking at a new world this year, then you're not expecting it to be supported for that much longer going forward, right? Because Duel Links is not dying, but it's definitely, you know, it's getting old. And it's not really gaining new players. They've had the same download figure for the past, what, like a year and a half, I think it is. So Rush Duel hasn't clearly, unless you get more figures this week, hasn't really done that well for them in terms of bringing in new players. But I think at the moment it is just going to be, let's keep the player base we have, let's hopefully make some more money off them, and eventually, I think this year will be the announcement of a brand new game for mobile that will be interesting to see what they do, right? Because they can't do a cross duel, and I think if it is too similar to Duel Links, then it's going to be hard to transition people to that format, but we'll see what happens with that, right? We'll see. It would be a fun time regardless. But anyway, that's my overall predictions for Duel Links in 2024. I'll leave a nice graphic now on screen of all the characters I kind of think will be coming in each month, and let me know down below what you think will happen this year. Any specific deck types you're looking forward to, any specific cards, campaigns, right? So yeah, but definitely gonna be interesting, and I think for Rush players, interesting to see how much they sideline the mode. I hope they don't going forward, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.